Welcome. Welcome, people. As I say to everyone, if you want to take masks off or if you want to leave them on, it's totally down to you. Whatever you feel comfortable with. If you want space, that's absolutely fine. It is genuinely so good to actually see you in person. I feel it's 18 months ago we kind of muscled our way into your houses, and now we can welcome you finally back into ours. To see you in person is brilliant. To sort of try and rebuild our community is fantastic. We are being recorded, so we can share this with all the other parents who were not able to make it. So I might occasionally talk to the camera at home. I hope you're enjoying a glass of wine. It's also being recorded, so just be aware, whatever you say in the background, it will pick you up. I'm going to pass you over to the team. We've got here Mrs. McNeil, and we've got Miss Doherty, and behind the glamour assistant is Mr. Ray, who is the chief clicker tonight. I hope you enjoy hearing what they are telling you about Year 3. The girls have started off brilliantly. They've just bounced into school. It's lovely to see them, and it's lovely to be able to see the playground in its usual bubbly self at break times and lunch times, everyone mingling together. So we're very happy, the girls are very happy, and I'm going to pass you over to the team to tell you what they're going to be doing this year.
Good evening, everybody. You will see on the screen the teachers that your daughters will see throughout the year for various different subjects. I won't read them all to you, I'll let you divulge those. They will also be sent to you as well. But it's really great for the girls to get to know some new faces, a few new teachers, obviously myself and Mrs. McNeil and you as well, but some teachers that they also know fairly well, like the PE team. So it's really nice for them to have a mix of adults that they can see throughout the day. Also, our emails are at the top. Should you have any questions at all throughout the year, please do email us, and we can hopefully point you in the right direction.
Lovely, thank you. So, it is, like Mr. Williams said, it's so nice to feel like we've got a bit of normality again, that we can be a bit more of a community. And on the back of that, I don't think we've ever had such a situation where we've all had to rely on each other so much as the last couple of years. So we want to keep that going in a way, to keep those lines of communication open. And so there's a few things that would help us and help you to make sure that everything runs smoothly, really. So the first thing I would say is have a little chat with your daughter whenever you can. While they're still little, they might actually tell you things. Mine are huge now and they don't tell me anything. If I ask them how school was, they say fine. So have a little chat, find out what's going on. If anything comes up that isn't going so well, that they might not have told us, just grab us at the gate or send us a little email and just say, oh, so-and-so said she wasn't very happy at playtime today, and then we can actually have a conversation with them about it. And do encourage them to come and talk to us about anything, because it's always best if we can get in there if anything happens straight away and deal with it, because then things don't blow up as much as possible. When you've had that communication, do listen to what we tell you in reply. So sometimes your daughter will have one opinion and we will be able to give you a larger picture of things that happen. So do communicate with us, listen to what's being said. We often give you advice on, what needs to happen, what you're going to need to bring in. So make sure that you read any emails that come out via us or via your wonderful class reps, so that line of communication can keep going. Stay positive. Everybody staying positive is a really important thing. In general, the best thing to do if you find something that you're not quite happy with is to ask us what's going on, and we will just let you know. All right. So rather than kind of let things build into a situation, just get in touch and we can have a chat about it. Come and talk to us with any concerns or queries. That's the same thing. If you have a problem, just drop us a line. Not a problem at all. And we will try and get back to you within 24 hours. We might not get back to you there and then because we're teaching all day, but within the next day, or if it's urgent, obviously a bit closer than that, we'll get back to you. If it's really, really urgent, the front desk is the place to email, because they will be on their email all the time. So things like picking up or arrangements like that, just email them and they will always send that through to us. Make sure that, I know it's hard keeping up with school communications, but it's really great that they all come out on a Friday in general, so it's quite nice to just click through all at the same time, put things in your diary straight away. And if there's anything you're not sure about, let us know. And like I say, the reps are usually fantastic, so thank you, all your parent reps are fantastic at keeping you up to date with what's going on as well. Help your daughter to get ready for school, but start to let them be independent. So maybe help them make a list of all the things they're going to need. It has increased, so they need their iPad, they need to make sure they've got their stylus and their headphones and their PE kit on certain days. There's a lot to remember, so a list is a really good idea, but then try and step back and let them take charge of it so that they can get ready for those year 4, year 5, year 6 and gulp year 7 times when they need to be more responsible for themselves. And in general, it's going to be a great year, so we're really looking forward to having that relationship with you.
Definitely. So next on to our price awards. The girls absolutely love these. They love having positive reinforcement, the idea that we can praise them and really encourage them to be the best that they can be. The price awards are the same as they were last year, but they're on the board as well for you. They're read out in Celebration Assembly on a Friday, and it really is their chance to shine. They love standing up. Obviously now assemblies are in the hall, we're all together, but they loved it whilst we were in the class together as well. But it really is, we award them for effort, for trying their best, for collaboration, lots of learning habits that are incorporated as well. But it's just really our way to praise the girls, to thank them, and to encourage them to work nice and hard, put in lots of effort. Oh, and sorry, the leaf then goes on our lovely tree, which is outside. You'll be able to see as you leave. And again, is a real visual reminder of just how hard they have been working.
Lovely, thank you. So there's a few things that are new for year 3 that you won't have had in year 2. A few subjects that they won't have done. So the first thing is in Key Stage 2, they take part in mentoring sessions. They're small group sessions where they're mixed together. We rotate around different teachers, so there are 6 teachers taking mentoring, Miss Doherty and I, but then a group of other teachers as well. So they have some PE staff, people that are a bit more widely spread around the school. And they're groups of about 8 children, and it's just a time for us to see how things are going. We have some things that we always do in there to help them grow and understand about friendships and things like that, but then also we take our lead from the children. So if there's something to kind of come up that day or that week that we think that they need to address, or one of the children has this particular question, we'll delve into that a little bit as well. Sometimes we'll go on a little walk around the neighbourhood. It's a really lovely time that isn't sort of sitting down at a desk working time, where we can communicate and really get to know the girls. It's a really lovely opportunity for us to do that. So mentoring is a really important part of our week. Another change is creative and critical thinking. They have an hour of this a week, and that covers all sorts of things from design technology to cooking to lateral thinking. All sorts of things are kind of bound up in this session. It's really fun and practical, and it's a lovely way for us to kind of work on those skills that wouldn't necessarily be in an English and maths lesson, for instance. Philosophy and religious studies, they covered in year 2 and year 1, but this is a standalone subject with Mrs. George, who's our PRS teacher, and it's just as much focused on the ways of thinking, so the philosophy side, as it is on the religious side. So understanding the way that people think, which is really so important in the world today, understanding different viewpoints. Music instrumental programme will come on to in a second for Mr. Ray, so I won't steal his thunder. And then, of course, the final one, which is the thing that the children are so excited about, is the iPads. I don't know about you, Miss Doherty, but I've had about 700 questions about the iPads already in the last couple of days. We think they'll be coming home on Thursday. That's the plan. And all the fun that brings with it. So in general, I'm sure if you've got children who are older, you'll know that we use Showbie in Key Stage 2. The girls will be very au fait with that within a couple of weeks. Everything is done on there. We often use it for classwork as well. There is an English and Maths folder on Showbie for homework, so you'll be able to access that and see what homework they've got. It's really easy to use, and I know you're used to Seesaw. It's simpler than Seesaw, so it's just a way of storing documents basically that they can access. So it's very, very simple and will become very clear as they use it. Mr. Ray.
Oh, great. Thank you. So, as part of our curriculum here at Surbiton, we offer a whole instrumental scheme. In year 3, they get to learn either the violin or the cello as part of their curriculum lessons. So tomorrow in their lesson with Mrs. Sunday, they'll be choosing whether they opted for cello or violin. Violin, is it? Okay. It's smaller, right? Yeah, okay. Good. but worse sound, though. So which one do you want? Anyway, so in their lessons they have half the lesson is spent with the specialist teacher, so Mr. Brunner and Miss Quirk will teach them the violin and the cello, and Miss Sunday will teach half of the class in looking at the curriculum music, and then they'll swap over half of the lesson. In about 3 weeks' time, the instrument will come home for them to practice, and they get their own instrument for the entirety of the term to rehearse with. On Showbie, there were lots of resources for them to look through, videos of their teacher playing and things for them to practice, so that when he comes home, it isn't just kind of getting out of the case and showing you it, it's actually practicing it and learning something. You can see there on the screen that there's actually a showcase, a concert at the end of November, where you get to come and watch them and perform their pieces. I can see some parents in here who've been before to this, and they think, "Oh yeah. This is not my first rodeo." But you might think it's going to be awful, but actually they do achieve quite a lot in that time. You can also see on the screen there that if they like it and you are supportive of it too, they can continue in the spring term and have one-to-one lessons with that teacher at a reduced cost for the end of the year. If there are any questions, obviously you can email me or Mrs. Sunder and we can talk about how that works. But it's going to be great. So please smile.
Lovely, thank you.
Okay, so next we are moving on to the content that we'll be teaching during the autumn term, a bit of an overview for you. And we focus mainly on the Romans, which the girls in previous years have just absolutely loved. We really immerse them in them. We do it in lots of different subjects, in English, in drama, humanities, and we'll also be looking at in science how our body works, which is a bit of a life skill. Thinking about healthy eating, having a balanced diet, getting exercise, sleeping well. So all of that is covered, and I think they've just really loved it in previous years. Some of the girls in 3D today had an extra snack, which they were very excited about. I brought in some food and they tried different foods, and we thought about the different food groups, whether it was a protein or a carbohydrate, and just their faces when I said, "We're going to be eating food today." They were just so excited. So already there's that real engagement in the topics that we're teaching. Things like making Roman shields. Mrs. McNeil, very clever, you've taught a bit of Latin as well in previous years, so we just really immerse them into Roman life and looking at how our bodies work. You will see on the next slide, here is a bit of an overview, and again this will be sent out to you for all of the different subjects that we'll be teaching. Mr. Ray,
we're whizzing through this because you should have had it, and it's on MIS as well if you want to access it.
So all of those different subjects, but also Mr. Ray, back to the previous one. Thank you. So this one here, just a bit of inspiration for you should the girls want to do a little bit of learning at home. Again, you will have a copy of this, but just some ideas to really get those creative juices flowing. If you have some spare time in the evenings or at the weekends, and they're really enthusiastic about the different topics. So for instance, in English, they can maybe make a little book, and we are always enthusiastic to really see what they've done. So if they have done something at home and would like to bring it in, please do send them our way. And also in science, if any of you are budding chefs or budding bakers, please feel free to make some healthy recipes or design some different bits and bobs. And as I say, we would really love to see what they get up to at home. So please do send any pictures in or send them in with different bits and bobs.
Lovely. So, following on from the Romans, we kind of segue into Vesuvius erupting, learning all about that, and that takes us into our topic of volcanoes. Now, who would have thought that learning about rocks would be so fascinating for year 3s, but oh my goodness, they get very excited about sedimentary rocks. So, yes, we're really glad to be back in school for this one, aren't we? Because it's much easier to teach about rocks when they can hold them in front of them. So we're really looking forward to that. Volcanoes are endlessly exciting to learn about. And off the back of that, we also study in English The Iron Man by Ted Hughes, which is a really great first novel to get their teeth into with writing. So we're really looking forward to that one. And we think all about the Earth's structure and learn about the Earth's core and things like that, and how the tectonic plates work and all these sort of things. And alongside that, looking at some kind of wider geography. world geography, so thinking about the continents and the tectonic plates and how they shift and things like that. So it's a really fun topic that follows on from our Romans.
It all links really nicely together, so I think they really immerse themselves in it. And then in the summer term, we look at our local area. And in previous years, we've gone out and we have litter picked. We've tried to sort of build a bit of a community together. Other year groups have gone to local sort of elderly homes and they've sang for the elderly. So we're really trying to, especially after the year that we've had where everybody has been so distant, it will be really nice to really build upon that community spirit. So we look at Kingston, we look at Surbiton, our local area to the school. We go on walks, we look at nature. It's just a really lovely topic for the girls to find out a little bit more about where the school is situated. We've been on walks, litter picking, lots of different things. And involved in that as well, lots of different texts. You can see a couple of books there at the bottom. And again, we've got that aspect of nature, which really ties in with recycling and our environment. So it's real sort of current topical elements to it that we think are just life skills and really important for them to think about. But it's a really lovely way to end the year, sort of send them off up the school, really thinking about those things that matter.
And I think the other thing about learning about our local area, it was the first time I taught it last year, and it's fascinating to find out things that are so close to us. So the history of Kingston and Surbiton and everything that's happened on our doorstep, really, that makes it so immediate for the children. It's, history isn't just miles away in ancient Rome. It is here, it's on our doorstep, which is so important.
Great.
Lovely. So, home. Reading, keep reading. You read to them, they read to you. Read one page, they read one page, just keep reading. Of everything you can do, it's the most important. Okay, listen to audiobooks, everything. That is the most useful way which you can support your children. Mental maths, so they'll have Times Table Rockstars on their iPads, they'll have Numbots on their iPads, and they'll have hit the button, all sorts of things that they can just do for 5 minutes. I know we don't want too much screen time, but 5 minutes often, an app is quite a good way to do these things with maths because it's fun. Or do it in the car, so keep those numbers flying in the car on the way to school, on the way home from school. Just short, sharp, little and often work with maths. And we've already shown you the big thing with the light bulb, with the curriculum overview, with suggestions if there's further things you want to do at home. Homework is slightly different this year. So maths is as normal. We're starting next week. We'll send a piece of maths homework home, usually in the maths folder. We'll come home, goes home on Tuesday, comes back on Monday. Some weeks it might be on Mathletics, which is a maths app they'll have. You'll have used it before if you've been here before. And then English is slightly different. It will just be spelling, and they will have a reading journal in which they respond to whatever they're reading. I don't want to say too much about that now because we will send an email out with more details once we've introduced it to the girls next week. But what we want them to do is get excited and engage with their reading rather than just tick a box. We just want them to be excited and have those discussions with you and discussions with us about what they're loving reading. So that will all be due in on a Monday, spelling and reading records. More reading, always more reading. This, I think, came out to you in the summer, but so did a lot of other stuff. There's a link to our reading recommendations on the web on MIS. You can click on there. There's books arranged by genre. There's books arranged by year group. Just some suggestions to get you started. There's 50 books for every year group. Most of them are in our library. We have been able to buy a lot of new books from the library over the last year, and it's in really, really good condition. It's full of exciting things to read. 3M went in there today. They were really pleased to be able to get some of those books. And we just want to keep on getting that richness of language in for them. But yes, reading recommendations. They can come to us at any time for reading recommendations. We'll be having story times. We'll be having all sorts of reading pushes to make sure everybody gets a chance to read as much as possible.
Definitely. Last but not least, Mrs. McNeil has already given a bit of information about this, but just to reiterate a little bit, the idea that it's smaller groups, and the girls really respond well to that, having that sort of, obviously not 1-to-1, but 1-to-8 time with a teacher, whether it's myself or Mrs. McNeil, or some of the other teachers that will be involved. And as Mrs. McNeil said, they will see every teacher throughout the year, so it's a real great chance to just build bonds, build relationships, get to know them a little bit better. If they absolutely love horses, we can talk about horses. If they absolutely love football or whatever it is, it's just a real chance to really get to know the girls. And them us as well, I think. It really is that sort of working relationship. And again, if there's any concerns or if there are any issues, they can talk to us during that time. But similarly, if they've got something to celebrate, it's a really nice time in a smaller group for them to explain what they did at the weekend, or maybe what's coming up, something they're really excited about. Obviously at the bottom it does say that it's not a counselling service, so if there is anything of a sensitive nature, we will talk about that obviously appropriately with the individual pupil, but they just absolutely love it. We've, as you said, went outside, we've got fresh air, we've played games, it's just a really nice chance for them to just let their hair down, have a bit of a sort of non-school academic time, and they just really, really love it. So yeah, looking forward to getting started with that.
Yeah. Lovely. So I think, are we saying any questions?
We're not going to say any questions.
No
Actually, you know what?
questions.
You have got 3 minutes. You are the best year group by quite some margin. So if there are any curriculum-related questions, now is an opportunity to ask. Otherwise, the team will make their way outside, and you can ask any specific questions to Year 3 out there. So are there any hands? Any hands at home? No? Okay. Yes?
Sorry, just one question. I've heard, and I don't know if it's right, I just want confirmation, that they split into groups of 8 for maths and English. Is that true?
16.
16. We've got 3 parallel groups throughout the year group, mixed ability, and it's just proven to be really, really effective, isn't it, in terms of the girls working together, learning from one another, so 3 groups of 16.
Yeah, it works really well because they're mixing with other people as well, so they're not always
across the year group.
in the same class, which is nice. And they're either with us for maths or English, so they'll
So we
see their
see
form
It's-
teacher.
It's different groups for English and for maths.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
yeah.
Any other questions? Fabulous. Well, in which case, thank you so much for coming. It is absolutely delightful to see you.